is enough said.
What's up, Heat Nation? Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Guys, I hope you're having a great Thursday so far. Weekend's around the corner. Now let's get to some Miami Heat basketball because your boy's excited for today's episode. Now, this episode today, you guys, I want to talk about a rumor that's being leaked out there. Now, this isn't specifically to the Miami Heat, but it can involve Miami Heat. And I think the Miami Heat should consider doing something like this because NBA insiders have recently suggested that the Philadelphia 76ers are looking to trade Paul George in a package with the number 3 draft pick. Now, a lot of this was coming down yesterday. There was a big rumor that came out saying that the Philadelphia 76ers are willing to trade the 3rd pick. They're trying to get out of Paul George's contract. And when you look at it, you guys, you can understand why. You know, Paul George signed a 2-year, $220 million contract last year with the Philadelphia 76ers. They signed him along with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey to compete. This team couldn't even make the play-in. They were surrounded by a bunch of injury. And then you look at these 2 contracts that Philadelphia has between Joel Embiid and Paul George. 2 of the worst contracts in the NBA. Why? Joel Embiid is making a supermax contract and he barely plays in the regular season. Always getting injured. He's on the other side of 30 and you can see that his body's been breaking down a lot. How many more years does he have left? Only time will tell. Then you look at Paul George. You know, he's making $51.6 million next season, $54.1 million in the 2027 season. Then he has a player option for $56.5 million. And that's going to be when he's 37 years old. Now, when you look at a contract like that, and then you look at a Paul George who this past year didn't really have his best season, you think, why the hell would the Miami Heat make this trade? Well, a few reasons. First off, that number 3 pick is going to look really shiny. You're going to have a lot of different options if you possibly have that 3rd pick. You have Dylan Harper, you have Ace Bailey, you have VJ Edgecombe. There's going to be a lot of opportunity surrounding that pick. So the Miami Heat could have something really good if they look to trade for this number 3 pick. And right now I'm looking at the mock draft projections just to see who's going. Yeah, you have Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, Con Campbell, Trae Young, Jeremiah Fears. You have a lot of people that are going around the number 3 to number 7 pick who can be game changers for your team. Now, the biggest question is, who the hell are the Miami Heat going to have to give up if they look to trade Paul George? Now, I understand how people will look at this and say, this is the dumbest thing that the Miami Heat can do. Why the hell would we put ourselves in a cap hell by trading for Paul George? Because when you look at his numbers last year, you guys, Paul George averaged 16.2 points a game, 5.3 rebounds, 4.3 assists, almost 2 steals a game, 35% from the 3-point line. Since 2014, for a 10-year span, Paul George was averaging anywhere from 22 to 28 points a game. So he's had his worst season in the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, part of it is, maybe because he's declining. I don't think so. I just think it's the system. I think the fit doesn't work with Philadelphia. I think this team is leaning more towards Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, and they're looking for Paul George to be more of like a 3rd option. That's not really his game. Paul George still can be that guy. You still saw glimpses in it in Philadelphia. And I feel with a change of scenery and a better coaching system with a better culture, he might do a little bit better. Now, if you put Paul George next to Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, it does give Tyler Hero that player that can alleviate him offensively, that can help him offensively. Say what you want about Paul George, you guys. On a good day, Paul George is still a bucket getter. He's going to be 35 years old next year. And I think if Paul George gets his mind right, he can still play that all-star level form that he has before. I think Podcast P was getting in his way a lot in Philadelphia. I think there was so much drama and so much losing going on in Philadelphia that it just wasn't working. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not really the biggest Paul George fan. I'm not clamoring and I'm not dying to get Paul George on this team. But that number 3 pick is very enticing. Because yes, if you trade for Paul George, you're going to lock yourself up in the cap. But you're going to have that number 3 pick that you can build on. That number 3 pick is going to be in the age group. It's going to be in the build with Tyler, Bam, Davion Mitchell, Kel'el Ware. This is the team that you're going to be looking at for the future alongside with Paul George, a veteran that has gone far in the playoffs in the past. Hasn't won a championship, but he's gone far in the playoffs. So the question is, what do you trade for a Paul George? Now, I saw a few reports yesterday that were suggesting a trade, and if this is what Philadelphia is willing to accept, I say do it. The Miami Heat would receive Paul George and the number 3 pick. And in return, Philadelphia would get Andrew Wiggins, Terry Rozier's expiring contract, and our 20th pick. When you look at the numbers, because here's the thing, you guys, the Miami Heat were under the first apron. You want to stay under the first apron line so you can have your full mid-level exception. Because if you're going to trade for Paul George and the number 3 pick, you need to go ahead and get some players to fill out. So when you look at the numbers, Andrew Wiggins and Terry Rozier collectively are making about $50 million. Paul George's salary is $51.6 million. So Terry Rozier and Andrew Wiggins just about make the same amount of money. Maybe the Miami Heat might have to sweeten the pot, add a Jaime Jaquez or a Nikola Jovic. I'm not going to say that would be a deal breaker. I would be willing to do that because remember, you're getting the 3rd pick. This 3rd pick, you guys, can be a game changer. This 3rd pick can be our next Dwayne Wade. We drafted Dwayne Wade at 5. Maybe it's Ace Bailey. Maybe it's Dylan Harper. Maybe it's VJ Edgecombe. Maybe it's Trey Johnson. Maybe it's one of these guys that is the next Miami Heat generational player. So if Philadelphia would accept a trade like this, you can bet your ass 100% your boy Ernest would be down with that trade. Yeah, I get it. 2026 is not going to be our flexible year anymore if we trade for Paul George. That contract is going to bite us in the ass towards the second part of it. But you have the 3rd pick. You have your 2026 pick. You have your mid-level exception if you make this trade. You're still able to upgrade your roster. And Paul George, with a bad of a season he's had with Philadelphia, can still be that player, can still help, and can still provide the experience you need to win. I'd be willing to do it. There's also rumors indicating that Philadelphia is looking to make a trade for Kevin Durant. I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, I guess so. I guess that's a possibility. But if you're going to give up the number 3 pick for Kevin Durant, who's probably only going to play for you for 1 season, while you can maybe get a package from the Miami Heat with an Andrew Wiggins and a Terry Rozier that can help you this year. You have the 20th pick that you can build on for the future. Maybe you can attach Jaime Jaquez or Nikola Jovic just to give them that pot sweetener. I think that would be a better deal for Philadelphia. Because you're getting the 20th pick, you're getting a young asset, you're getting 2 players that can help you this year, and both of these players' numbers will be off your books after 2026. See what you do with Joel Embiid, and now you can build around Tyrese Maxey. I think it works for both sides. Does Philly do it? Do the Heat have to give up more? Because if Philadelphia is asking for Bam Adebayo or Tyler Hero, I'm hanging up the phone. There's no point. There's no point. You're trading, if you're going to trade Tyler Hero for Paul George in the 3rd pick, you're basically putting yourself in the same situation you are right now, a play-in team at best. You need to keep Tyler and Bam, and you need to get that 3rd guy that can help him. That's the goal this offseason. If you are unable to do that, look to trade some of these main assets you have for draft capital and rebuild. That's the way I see it. Or you can run it back for another year. Run it back for another year, see what this team can do, play in, maybe they'll be out of the play-in, but at least you'll have over $80 million of cap flexibility in 2026. So Heat Nation, I want to hear from you. I wasn't able to talk about this yesterday, but guys, I was at my daughter's recital. It was so beautiful. I'll post a video on it later. My daughter killed it last night. She's more important. But I saw a lot of Heat platforms talk about this, so I wanted to give you guys my opinion. Do I think it's a good trade? This particular trade, yes. If it's for Tyler or Bam, nah, I'm not doing it. So Heat Nation, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe as we continue our push for 7,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. And until next time, your boy Ernest out. And that is enough said.